Hello, fellow visionary, and welcome to my channel. My name's Chandler Short. Today, what I wanted to talk to you about is when times get tough, what do we do to overcome those feelings of self-doubt, those limiting self-beliefs that come into our head and try to bring us down? Now, over the last 10 days, I've been doing a parasite cleanse, trying to rid myself of any parasites, any potential things that are taking energy from my system. And my body is feeling very low energy right now. It's feeling really tired. I've lost probably 5 to 10 pounds of weight in the last 10 days. My goal was not to lose weight with this cleanse. It was purely to strip myself of any parasitic entities who are taking energy from me. And I will say that my brain feels a lot more clear, even though I'm really tired on this last day, probably just because I'm more deficient on nutrients in my body. But what I will say is this experience has really challenged me and really gotten to my core and made me feel very exposed and vulnerable. I've broken down a couple times mentally, I've cried, and I've just needed to sit with myself, and it's been a challenge doing this cleanse, I will say. When you're someone who eats regularly, at least 3 or 4 times a day, and you basically tell yourself on purpose, hey, I'm not gonna feed you, and you have things going on throughout your day, it can be really challenging, guys, to do a cleanse. If you are thinking about doing a cleanse, I would highly recommend doing like a 1 or 2 day to start, then maybe bump up to a 3 or 4, and then try 7 to 10. But I will say that 7 or 10 days on a cleanse is very difficult, especially if you're doing only veggies, fruits, and maybe some seeds and nuts, which is what I've been doing. Now, what do we do when times get tough, when life challenges us? No matter where you are in this world, no matter what you do for a career, no matter how much money you're making, the reality is we all suffer. Suffering is a part of life, and it's really not under our control. There are going to be days when you wake up and things just aren't clicking for you. There's going to be challenges thrown at you, especially if you're starting a business, writing a book, maybe starting a website, whatever it is that you're pursuing or moving towards. There will be challenges and obstacles that confront you. And the initial thing is when those challenges confront you, it can be like, oh wow, it can really shake you at the core. It can be like similar to the way this cleanse has made me feel. It's been like, man, are you sure you want this? Are you sure you want to continue 10 days of this misery? It's really, really challenging. And I've had to ask myself that many, many times. Why am I doing this cleanse? What is the point? And there's a lot of reasons. I really wanted to rid myself of those parasitic entities that were taking energy from me. I wanted to detox my body and have my brain feel more clear, which it is. I've wanted to detox from the emotional energies and the things that we may not even be consciously aware of. I wanted to detox from those things. I wanted to build discipline as well. So when you ask yourself and you really cut to the core as to why, and you ask yourself, why do you want those things? You will get the most out of those moments of challenges that are continually bringing you to a point where you might want to quit. And sometimes it's okay to quit, but realize that if you have the initial intent of starting something and finishing it, there's clearly something that is great enough as to why you started. So ask yourself, why did you start in the first place? List those reasons out, and if those reasons aren't that important to you, then it wasn't something that you actually wanted. Because when you start something, if I want to start this business and make $10,000 a month, or I want to do this cleanse because I'm going to receive all these benefits, but then the challenges come, because they will come, guys. The challenges will always show up. Especially when you're doing something challenging, it's inevitable to have something like a roadblock or some kind of speed bump in your life that'll come in and challenge you in a way where you might not necessarily want to follow through. It's like starting a book that you thought you wanted to start that book because it was such a great book, and you thought, oh wow, the title looks really awesome, it pulled you in, but then you start and you're like, you put it down and you never finish it. Well, why did you never finish it? Did you pick it up just because you were curious, or did you pick up the book with the intent that, hey, I really want to get something out of this book and follow through with finishing it? See, there's two different things right there. The park is full of noises this morning. We got the seagulls. The seagulls are going off this morning. Now, what I'm not saying is you just push through all the pain and the suffering just because. The point of pushing past our limits is, how ironic. During a video where I'm telling you how to push past those moments that are challenging you, there's a guy mowing the lawn or the grass over there, doing his job, and there's seagulls going absolutely crazy, just causing so much noise and chaos that I'm just like, you know what? I can't focus on this video, guys. I'm gonna have to move over or end this video. And that's initially what my brain was telling me to do. It was saying, hey, end this video right now. This is terrible. You suck. These are the things that started coming into my head, because guess what? It's challenging filming these videos. It's challenging coming out here in the morning on my free time and filming videos, but it's something that when I ask myself, why do I want to do this? It's because I love to create. It's because I love to share from my heart. I love to try to provide value to you right here in this virtual medium. So for me, having those noises and those distractions, you know what? That's just the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. That's just a sign that I'm being challenged and that I need to move in a direction where, hey, I need to maybe pick up my camera, go to a different place and film somewhere else. So what I was trying to say is, life is going to throw you challenges. It's going to throw you tests. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Life always has challenges for us, no matter what circumstance we may be in, no matter how much money we may be making. And don't be fooled by what you see on social media, right? There's going to be people who are living lavishly all the time. They're flying to this place, they're flying to that place. They're eating those fancy meals all the time. They're living the good life that you want. Don't be fooled by social media. Social media is a place where people can show you what they're doing, the best moments of their life. And those best moments are not a reflection of what is actually going on inside of them. How do I know this? Because I used to be that type of person who would always post, oh, like, look at what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, look at the nice meals that I'm going to, look at the places that I'm traveling to. But it doesn't, guys, it doesn't mean that internally I am a happy person, that I am doing things that I actually want to be doing, or that I'm living in a way that is authentic to myself. Maybe it's just me posting those things because I'm so insecure and I need people I need to show people what I'm up to and what I'm doing. I need to show people that I'm successful because that brings meaning to my life. There are so many people out there on social media flaunting what they have because that's all that they have, but they're empty inside, honestly. Some of the wealthiest people that I knew, or the wealthiest people that I worked with, were some of the most miserable people I have ever met. They identified with money and nice things as a way and means to create value for themselves, which was then projected out into the universe. But money does not bring happiness. If you're a happy person, money will only provide you with more opportunities and more freedom. But money does not change your internal state. So while everyone out there is chasing money, and we all do it because that's the game and the world that we're living in, right? In the 3D plane, we need money to survive, we need money to eat, we need money to pay bills. Money is an exchange of energy at the end of the day. My point is that a miserable person is going to be unhappy with or without money. It doesn't matter. Why does life challenge us? Sometimes I ask this question as to why the hell does life have to be so challenging? Why do I have to suffer? What is the point of this place if I'm constantly hitting these moments where I'm like, why am I being tested so much? Well, oftentimes, if you are chasing something, maybe you're holding on too tight, and that is what is causing the suffering inside of you. Now, I'm not saying don't go and chase your dreams. Chasing your dreams is amazing, and you should chase your dreams. But when those challenges arise, realize that when you reach that final destination, there is no final destination. There's just another mountain to climb, another challenge that you will have to overcome. To briefly explain, one of the happiest moments in my life was when I ran a marathon at 22 years old. Now, I trained for 3 months prior to this marathon. I, was in the best shape of my life, probably in terms of endurance and running. And by the time I made it to the finish line of the 26.2 mile race, I realized that all the hard work that I had put in, right as I crossed the finish line, it was this pure, blissful state of the ultimate high. I had crossed the finish line. I had reached this pinnacle, this feeling of just emotional release and empowerment, because everything that I had trained so hard to do had all come to that moment of crossing the finish line. But the funny thing is after that marathon, I was probably the most depressed person for 2 weeks to a month. Why? Because when I had reached that finish line, I had so much energy invested into that outcome of finishing the race, of completing, that all the training and everything leading up to it kind of just vanished. It was all about that end moment of finishing. And so why does this relate to you? If you are somebody who is chasing something, stop yourself for a second and realize, oh, what can I enjoy in this moment right now, right in front of me? How can I tap into this present moment and take myself away from that outcome, which is driving me and fueling me? And it's good to have our eyes set in our trajectory towards something, because that keeps us on track, right? But if we can't enjoy the present moment, you will look back on your life and be like, it'll be gone in the blink of an eye. And you'll be like, holy crap, what did I just do? Was I really that obsessed with an outcome and finishing something and just constantly grinding to get to this point of finish, of completion, and then realize and look back and be like, holy crap, I wasn't present at all during that experience. And the experience is the only thing that matters. Not the outcome, not the amount of money we make, not the amount of successful businesses we have, not the amount of friends that we have, not the amount of good things that people say about us. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is the experience in this present moment. And so, yes, goals are good. Yes, challenges are good for us. And it's good to work towards something in life. It is amazing to do challenging things like run a marathon and set our sights on challenging things. Because challenging things create more discipline in us, and they allow us to expand ourselves and really dig down deep and see what we're made out of. And those are all good things. But if you are so invested in the outcome and the finish line and that completion point, you're going to be rudely mistaken when you think that the finish line and that completion point is your happiness and that's what you're wanting. There is nothing there. There's no pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. The rainbow is the beautiful part of it. The whole journey is the beautiful part of it. The present moment right in front of us is the beautiful part of it. The challenges, the happy moments, the blissful moments, all the different moments in waves. It's like waves, guys. All those moments come together, and it's just, that's all that matters. And so, yes, you're working towards something, but realize that there will always be another mountain to climb. And now that might seem like overwhelming to be like, well, I'm always just going to be climbing mountains. And it's like, well, you don't have to be climbing big mountains. You could be climbing smaller mountains. You could be walking up smaller hills. You don't always have to be climbing Mount Everest. And while the big journeys are sometimes glorified and we want to do the big things like run a marathon or climb Mount Everest and do these huge things, the reality is nobody cares. The current moment is all that matters. And what matters is what matters to you, nobody else. So ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing. And it's okay, you don't even have to ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing. If you truly enjoy what you're doing in the moment, if you're enjoying the journey and just walking the path as I speak to you here in this moment. I am not here to provide advice. I'm just speaking on my behalf and my experiences of life. Thank you so much for tuning in on this video. Sorry it was a little hectic. It was a little challenging for me as well as I was encountering all these different distractions. Feel free to like and subscribe and hit that bell. This video was definitely a challenge for me, just being on my 10th day of a cleanse where I'm feeling very low energy, not gonna lie. But that's just an excuse as to why I can't get out here and film. So I showed up today and that's all that matters. And I was present and I was here in this moment with you guys. And that is, to me, what I'm after. I'm after being in the present moment and tapping in this reality, in this timeline, here in the moment with you, here in the now. So that's my goal, is to be here. Thank you.